Hello folks, it's Sean Mize here, and in today's training I'm going to go through the process of how to create products, create information products fast. And I can tell you this, last time I counted I think I had 35, and I've created a few products since then I think, and even if you think about what I'm doing right now, you are literally watching me create a product. So product creation is big for me. Product creation for me is nothing special. Product creation is simply showing other people what I do well. And for you, that's what product creation should be. Whatever your niche is, product creation is simply documenting what you do in such a way that other people can do it, no matter what your niche is. That's all product creation is. I think sometimes it's easy for us to feel like when we purchase someone else's product that it's, even if it's a digital download, that it's something that's physical and it's there, but it's not. It's, in most cases, it's either a print type of a thing, it's a book, or it's a recording of just voice, so it's audio, or it's recording a video like what you're seeing right now. Those are the three big ways that we disseminate virtual and information. Okay, and that's what you're going to do. And in today's training, I'm gonna do everything I can to make this so simple that when you finish today's training, that you'll be able to go out and start creating your own product. The first thing that we're going to do is start with the list you made in the very first day. Okay, so you made a list in the very first day in this training of all the things that you can teach people to do. Now, we made that list in the context of being able to create your offer. So, but you're going to now take that list and you're going to create your product from that list. So let's say that your list has 10 things on it. Okay. Let's say that you are in, just kind of create a niche out of the air here. Let's say that you are in the teach people how to plant trees niche. Okay. And instead of, having an offer that has some bulk to it, 8 or 10 things you're going to teach someone. Okay. Let's say you only have 3. And the first thing you're going to teach people is how to choose a tree. The second thing you're going to teach people is how to dig the hole. The third thing you're going to teach people is how to plant the tree in the hole. And then maybe the fourth thing you're going to teach people is, how to water it for the next 6 months so it doesn't die. Okay, those are the 4 things that you're going to teach people how to do. And so what you're going to do is you're going to create 4 pieces of your training. So that might, if you're writing a book, that'd be 4 chapters. It doesn't make any difference how long those chapters are. Write all the information necessary for someone to choose a tree. All the information. Okay, now to make this easy, you can break this into bits. So you could say, okay, on my first chapter, or if you're doing an audio, my first audio, or if you're doing a webinar type of thing like what I'm doing right here, you could say my first screen is going to be about how to choose a tree. But underneath that, if you can envision on your list, you could think about what are all the things that have to come into choosing your tree. So you're going to have to teach about soil. You're going to have to teach about, is it a dry environment or a humid environment? Is it north or south? Is it cold or hot? Do you want a tall tree? Do you want a shade tree? Do you want a pretty tree? Do you want one that's going to grow fruit? My goodness, if you were an expert at that, you could probably teach on everything I just listed for 2 hours or 3 hours, maybe even more. I mean, think about that. Well, you want to do that for your niche. Whatever your niche is, when you make this list of 8 or 10 things that you can teach people how to do, you want to go into detail on each part of that. I mean, think about this training that you're in with me. I want you to think of this as a product, because it is, right? You bought this as a product. And right now we're on what? The 9th element of this product. So this is, without counting the 8th or the 9th video in this product, right? What have I done on each video? Each video has had a topic. And then I taught you lots of small things inside of each of these videos. Okay, now, if this had instead been an audio, what would be different? Well, hardly anything, except that you wouldn't be reading the words on the page as well. That's it. That's the only difference, really. This would have been an audio if you didn't have this screen to look at right now. That's the only difference. The notes that you would use to create an audio are exactly the same notes you would use to create what you've watched me create. So in some ways, I could stop teaching you right now and just say, hey, go back through the last 7 or 8, see what I've done, create your product the same way. Because you really could. Now I'm going to show you. I'm going to model this for you right here. I'm going to teach you how to do it. I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to show you how to do the audio. But I really want you to wrap your mind around the fact that this really is easy. It's easy to feel like this process of creating your product or your training or your coaching program, talk about coaching program in just a second, is something that's daunting only because it has 10 parts to it, 10 hours. And if you think about this, you've received this over the last 8 or 9 days, maybe a little longer, if there's been a day between trainings. And I've probably created about one of these every day. My goal, I think, initially was to do 3 or 4 a day and have it done in 3 days and then just queue it up. Life gets in the way. But I want you to imagine that in the last 8 or 9 days, I've done one of these recordings every day. And here we are, 9 days later. The days are going to come and go, whether I did the work or not. Every day, about an hour, 15 minutes of preparation, writing the notes down. What am I going to talk about and teach on? Maybe another 10 minutes writing out these slides. Notice there's not very much on each one. There doesn't need to be. And then I'm just going to teach what I know. You're going to do exactly the same thing in your niche. Okay, so we've talked about a product and we've talked about a training. What's the difference between a product and a training? There is none. There is none. Your product can have 10 hours of information. Your training can have 10 hours. It's just a naming thing. What's the difference between a product and a coaching program? A coaching program, let's say it's a 10-week coaching program. It could have the same 10 hours or 10 units of training, exactly the same 10 units. What makes it coaching? An interactive element. All you have to do to make it coaching is give people email access. Or all you have to do to make it interactive, make it coaching, is to do once a week or even once a month a live conference call where you answer people's questions live. You could offer Skype access. You could offer instant message access. Doesn't matter, as long as they have access to you. And give them your telephone number if you want. Just tell them not to call at night. I'm serious. The only difference between a product and coaching is that normally, there's 2 differences. Normally with a product, if it's 10 hours of training, they get it all the first day. They pay for it today, they get it all today. With coaching, they pay for it today, but they get 1 lesson every week, say, for 10 weeks. And maybe they get to get on the phone with you with 3 other people in the coaching program, or with 100 other people in the coaching program, or just by themselves for 1 hour 3 times. That makes it a coaching program. Okay, so I'm going to be talking using the language of product. But I want you to know that when I say product, I mean product or training or coaching program. The steps are exactly the same. Here's what you're going to do now. You're going to divide your list into core items and bonus items. Okay, so core items are going to be the main part of your training. Bonus items, I like bonus items to be things that people probably wouldn't buy on their own, but seem to add a lot of value. Okay, so for example, let's go back to the tree planting thing. Okay, so let's say I do a 4-hour training on how to plant a tree. Okay, if I was in that niche. What would be a good bonus? A good bonus might be a 2-page PDF that has pictures of different kinds of trees. A flowering tree and a tree that would offer shade, and, an evergreen tree and a fruit tree. Okay, so that people can visualize all the different kinds of trees. Maybe another good bonus would be a 15-minute audio teaching in more depth on soil choices. Maybe another good bonus could be a chart like an almanac type of a chart that tells you what season to plant each kind of tree in. Okay, so if you can think about the difference, these core items are maybe an hour a piece long recordings. The bonus items they're bonuses. There may be a quick 10-minute recording on something that it's detailed, it's advanced, but you can't get an hour out of it. Maybe it's a 2-page PDF, or maybe it's a screenshot of something or whatever. So those would be your bonus items. Now you want bonus items to be interesting. You don't want to give things away just because you can. Okay, and a lot of times I give things away with no bonuses. If I only have one relevant bonus, there's one relevant bonus. They get one bonus. If I have 4, I give them 4. If I have 10, I probably don't give them 10. I choose the 4 best ones. Okay, because I don't want the bonuses to distract the core items. Okay, and everyone's going to be different. You're going to have to choose your bonuses based on how it works with your niche. You may not need a bonus. You want ideas, go look at what your competition is doing for bonuses, and then say, okay, that looks like a lousy bonus. I won't create that. That looks like a great bonus. I'll create that. By the way, another way to get good ideas for what your core items are going to be, go look at 10 of your competition sales letters and look at all the different things they say they teach. And what'll happen is as you read their sales letters, you go, oh, I could teach on that. Oh, I could teach on that. Oh, I could teach on that. You didn't initially think you could, but now you know that you can. You can teach on that. And you look at it and you go, oh, yeah, I could teach on that. Add it to your list. Then you got to determine how you're going to create it. Is it going to be print, audio, or video? Okay, here's the drawback to print. Here's the advantage to print. If you're scared of the sound of your voice and you'd rather type, well, print's the easy way out. Okay? The problem with printing is if you were to type out 10 hours worth of information, it might take you 25 hours to type it out. The same information you could have spoken in 10 hours. It might take you 25 or 30 hours. Then you've got to go back through and proofread it and get all the mistakes out. Then you've got to format it. It could take you 200 hours to write a 50-page book that will teach the same amount of information as a 10-hour audio. Now, there's one other disadvantage is if you have a 10-hour audio and a 50-page book, they both tell exactly the same information. Which one will sell for more? The truth of the matter is most people will pay a lot more for audio than they will for print. Okay, so it's going to take you longer to type it out, and you can charge less. So to me, print does not make sense. Okay, and again, if you have 10 audio programs and you really want something in print, create it. Hey, I've got things in print, okay? But those things in print are not my core business. They're just extras. They're things I felt like writing, okay? And some of them, obviously, I wrote them before I started doing audio. Now that I do audio, and obviously some video like what you're seeing right now, now that I do audio, go, wow, it's the easiest thing to create. People pay more for it. We're going to do audio. So now the question is, do we do audio or video? Here's my rule of thumb. If you don't need to show someone something, do an audio. And you might ask, well, why are you doing a video for this particular unit? Well, because the rest of the whole program is video, and some of what I've done in the rest of the program, I feel like will be better. In fact, what I'm going to do today, I was just going to say, it's all video. I could have mixed it up, but then now I'm even thinking about that, and I go, you know what? Today I'm actually going to show you something on screen, so I really need video. So my rule of thumb is use audio if you don't need video. If you need to show somebody something, use video. And then there's one other place to use video. More and more people are stepping up and saying, well, I really like to watch a video. I don't want to listen. I want to watch a video. Well, if that's the case, well, you could create a video to satisfy those individuals. They want to watch a video. Okay, great. You could create a video, and you could create an audio version, a video version of everything you do if you choose. Okay? So those are your choices, print, audio, or video. I'm going to show you today, I'm going to show you how to do audio. Video, if you're doing video, let's say you're a swimming instructor, okay, I'm not going to be able to show you how to do that. You're going to go down to the store, you're going to buy a video camera and a tripod, and you're going to learn how to use it, and then you're going to learn how to download what you've used on that video camera and put it on your computer, okay, and then upload it to the web. And those instructions should come with a video camera. If you're going to do screenshots like what I'm doing, what I use is something called ScreenFlow. And you can also use Camtasia. Okay, so Camtasia or ScreenFlow is what you use to film what's on your screen. Okay. And then what I'm going to do today is also, like I said, I'm going to literally go through the process of doing the audio. So let's keep moving here. The next thing you're going to do, and I've already touched on this, is create a sublist of the steps to doing what you're teaching, and then teach from that sublist. And what I want to do is show you an example of me doing that for a product. Okay, now this is just a small product. It's a content marketing product. And what I did was I went on my computer and searched for one of my outlines. I don't even know if I've recorded this or not. Okay, I know I have a content marketing program, but I honestly, when I look at this, I don't know if I used this outline or if I used a different one for that product. Okay, but if this is my outline right here, okay, runs to right about here. Okay, so really from there to there, this is my outline. Okay, now I could literally teach for an hour on articles. Okay, that could be 1 hour. I could probably teach for a half hour on blog posts. I've done probably, in fact, I have, I think, a 17-hour email training. So, I mean, I could teach for 17 hours. Now, obviously, for a content program, you know, I might do half an hour. Okay. How to choose content ideas, that's probably half an hour. And then my 10 by 10 matrix idea is probably another half hour. So what do we have here? We've got we got 3 hours worth of content right here. 3 hours. And I'm just going to teach from it. And I'm not going to model teaching it because I'm physically modeling teaching right now. Think about this. I'm teaching from right now, as you hear the sound of my voice, I am teaching from this part of an outline. And if you think about it, these slides are my outline today. Think about it. This is my outline today, and I'm teaching from it. Okay? If I were doing an audio, this would be my outline, and I teach from this. So how to research content, that's probably another half hour of teaching. Find guest writers, that's a half hour of teaching. Write your own content, that's probably an hour. Write daily. Now these are some ideas that I'd probably do. All of these together would be like a half an hour. Okay? And then I talk about the end result. This would probably be 2 hours. Let's just call this an hour altogether. Now, what do I have? We've already said I have a 3 hours. And then I've got 4 hours, 5 hours, 5.5, 6.5. So I have 6.5 hours program. Now, what can I do with that? I can make it a 6-hour training that I sell. I could make it a 6-week coaching program. They get 1 hour every week. And then we get on the phone maybe 2 times and we do a 30-minute Q&A. If anybody has questions on any of this, I answer them. I could do a 6-month membership. I don't really care for memberships that much. But if I wanted to, I could do a 6-month membership. You join, and it's so much a month, and every month you get one of these hours. Okay? So those are the way. I just wanted to demonstrate to you. This is an outline of an audio, and this, folks, is an outline of a video. Okay? So there you go. There you have it. That's how I do it, folks. It does not need to be any more complicated than this. Okay? Now what I'm going to do, this is my outline again for showing you how I'm going to create a product. Now I'm actually going to show you these steps. I showed you the sample outline. Now I'm going to show you how you could create a product in Instant Teleseminar. You can use, if your computer has an audio recorder on it, you can just use that. Or you can use Instant Teleseminar or Audio Acrobat or any of the others out there. So what I thought I would do is just take a couple of minutes and go take a look at Instant Teleseminar, Audio Acrobat, and just kind of show you how it works. So if we go to Instant Teleseminar, then you'll notice here if we go to my events, we come down here. Let's say that this is something I taught. This was actually a platinum coaching call, but let's go into it and just say, by the way, if you look at this red flashing, okay, that's actually a teleseminar that's being held right now. So it's a pre-recorded teleseminar that I uploaded to Instant Teleseminar, and so it's that's something that started at the time 10:57, so it started at 9. So it's actually over, and it's just I always pad some time in it, so it's going to finish up. It'll clock off here in about 2 minutes. So event record, again, that was total rabbit trail that I went down. It's not scripted into this or anything. But so what I'm doing here is in Instant Teleseminar, let's say that you wanted to record something in Instant Teleseminar. You would just click Add New Event, and I'm going to name this. This would be my product, so that's your product. Your event date would be today's date. Okay, and then whatever your time is, say 1 o'clock, okay, 15 minutes from now, you just schedule yourself, select a duration, always make it longer than you're going to hold, so it's 3 hours, and then click Next. Okay? And then what you do is you just log into it. This is probably going to show up as happening right now because we set it for, that's Eastern time and I'm on Mountain. Okay, so now we click onto it. And then what I can do, the event starts in 45 seconds. How about that for timing? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to give this the 45 seconds, and I'll show you how I would create this. I might as well just talk now for 33 seconds so I can show you how to do it. So I'm set this up as an event, but I'm not inviting anybody. Now I could invite all my subscribers. I could invite some special clients. I could invite my wife to listen in. I could invite my friends. I could invite my subscribers, whatever. I could invite them to come listen in and participate if they wanted to. Or I can do this 100% on my own, and I'm going to show you me doing that right now. Okay, this is going to be crazy, but I'm going to show you me doing it right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my control panel, click on control panel. Okay, and notice there's one caller. Actually, I haven't even called in. Okay, so, but then I'm going to click recordings, and I'm going to click start recording. This is going to record me. Now, because I didn't call in, I'm not actually recording. I have nothing to record because I'm doing this as an imaginary test, right? So then when I get done recording, I hit stop recording. Okay? And then when I stop recording, I go to webcast, and I click end the event. Now, imagine I just taught for an hour. Okay, just pretend with me. I taught for an hour. Okay, and then I come back over here when it's done, and I click on my events, and I click on my product. That's the event title. I go to event recordings, and there is my recording right here. And if I click on it, now I didn't call in and actually record, but if I did, this would be the link right here, okay? And it's showing file not found, and my guess is that we just did it like 2 seconds ago, so it hasn't updated yet. Let's go to another one that's a live one, okay? So this is one that I did. This is my platinum coaching call I did recently. So I click on event recordings, and then if I click on MP3 recording here, okay, and actually in Firefox it comes up a little slow. I have no idea what's in Safari. I hate to open it because I don't know what's on that screen. So anyhow, this is it right here. It'll be here. It is. It's loading, and so that was a 23-minute training I did. Here it is right here. Then what you would do is you would take. There's 2 ways you can do it at this time. You can take this link and send that to your subscribers. I don't like to. What I like to do is upload this to my website, okay? I'm not going to show you how to upload something to your website. If you don't know how, your web server, your web host, whoever you use, should be able to show you how. There should be a tutorial in your web hosting service that'll teach you how. Okay, because it's going to be, if I were to show you how I do it, if you have a different server than me, it's going to might be different for you. So for me to show you would be an exercise in futility 99% of the time, whereas everything I'm showing you right here will work. What I would do is upload this, okay? Or you can send this link out directly. Again, I don't like to send this link out directly from Instant Teleseminar, okay? And one of the reasons for that is I don't even know how long. Now this tells me these recordings are permanent as long as your account remains active. So I could send this out, okay? But I personally prefer to upload it to my server. That way, what if something does happen to Instant Teleseminar, at least if it's on my computer and my server, I have some backups. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another way. That's one way to create your product, and you end up with an MP3. And you just go create 10 of them, right? For 10 hours, 5 of them for 5 hours. Now, there's another way, and that's Audio Acrobat. Now, why do I use Instant Teleseminar? Well, the reason I use Instant Teleseminar is because I use it for all my coaching calls. And so since I'm paying for it anyway, and it's really easy to use, why not just use it to create my products? So that's where I create my products now. Where I used to create my products was in Audio Acrobat. Okay, and if you're not going to do any live calls, which you should be doing, but if you're not going to be doing any live calls, Audio Acrobat's a great way to go. Okay, and here it is. You log into Audio Acrobat, and you go to Audio. Click on Audio. Oh, I have to log in again. I tried to have all this set up so it would work as soon as we got to it, but it must have been too much time had elapsed. So they logged me out. Okay, and so I'm going to go to the directions for creating an audio. Okay, I can record from my telephone, literally from my cell phone. I'm not going to click this to record, only because it will show you my password to use my telephone. Okay, and I just don't want anybody mistakenly recording things onto my account, because then you won't have access to get into my account. You'll just have access to record onto my account, and that would be a silly thing. But there's instructions there. Trust me, if you click that button, there's instructions there. They're really easy to use. Or you can do it by computer microphone, and I'll show you how you do this. You just click on Audio Web Recorder, and here's the directions. Okay, it's actually a short video. I'm not going to click there, folks. I don't need to show you folks that. Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll go to Show Audios. Once I've recorded, I follow the directions. These are some of my audios that I've done in the past. Okay, so these are products that I've done in the past, recordings I've done in the past. You see, I quit using this pretty much exclusively 5.2. And the only reason I did this one, I think, was, I don't know why I did this one here. I think my web server was down that day, and I needed somewhere to host this recording, and so I did it here for that purpose, so that it would just stream out of this account, because you can do that. So what I'm going to do, once you've created your audio following directions, you'll get a list. All you got to do is just click here, Publish Audio, and it says publish with a theme, publish classic, whatever. If you publish for email, you just click this button that says Publish for Email, and it'll give you the direct link to play. So we'll use, since we've already used this, we'll just use this window, and this will play my training. This right here is going to play my training.
This is Sean Mice here, and
so that right there is going to play my training. Okay, so now how do I get this to my subscribers? There's a few different ways to do it. One is we could use an HTML editor. I still do, and that's why I'm showing it to you. I still do, because I started out with HTML. Today, if I was starting out, I think I'd use WordPress. It's really a whole lot easier. You don't have to learn anything. It took me a long time to learn some basic HTML. So I use HTML, okay, and I just create a download page that looks like this. There's the link, and there's the link, and then they click on this link, and then this in this download page, this goes to another 10 hours of training. But each one of these could be this link. Okay, so I could make 10 different links like this and just put them on an HTML page. I'm not going to teach you how to do that because if you don't know how, you shouldn't be starting with HTML. Use WordPress instead. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this link, and if I can find it, I'm going to go to the tab that I created to show you guys. And if I can't find it, I'll obviously log in again. But it seems to me that I had created one. Here it is. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and this is, I think this is optimized press, but it doesn't matter. You can do this with any posts. Just go add new post. And then I can name this download page for test offer. Now in your case, it would say download page for whatever it is. And then I'm going to type here is your download links for the training you purchased. Now you can make this as fancy as you want. I'm trying to keep it really, 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 really simple. And I can highlight that. Now this becomes the web link. Okay, and this is first recording. Now you'd probably name it whatever it is. So this could be, you know, how to choose what kind of tree to plant. Okay, using that earlier example. And maybe I'll push open link in a new tab. There it is. There's the link. Now I'm not going to take the time to make all of this fancy, but I could, you know, download page, you know, and I could make this bold. I could make that italic. I could change the size of it if I wanted to. I mean, there's lots of different things I could do. I'm not going to do that here. Then what I could do is I click publish. So I'm going to publish this page, this post, and then I'm going to do view post. And this is my download page. Now, you'll notice it's set up on a blog, and you'll notice that the blog is set up. It's got all these links on here for different things. Your blog would not have those. Your blog would have your header. This is just a test blog post. And this is the download page for test offer. Here is your download links. What grammar, I love it. And then if you click on this, what does it do? There you go. And you could have multiple now obviously this is the same one, right? But imagine that you had two. We're using a little imagination here. If you had two links, this would be second link. Open link in a new window. Why do I want to open a new window? So that their blog page won't go away. Click update. Now that it's updated, I can come over here. I can refresh the page, and it's going to show both the links, the first one and the second one. Okay. Looks like the anchor text isn't showing, but doesn't make any difference to me. That's the first link, and this is the second one. Okay. So this is it. This is how you make a download page in WordPress. Now, remember, you can make this a lot more beautiful than this. Learn WordPress. Okay, if you don't know how to use WordPress and you should learn how to use WordPress so you can make it look exactly like you want it to. I'm just wanting to make this like lowest common denominator here. So if you're starting at the very beginning, here you have it. If you're more advanced, you already know how to do these things, then you're going to learn from this. Maybe you don't even need this particular instruction. You know how to create a product. Well, hopefully in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you some additional details on how to do it. Hopefully I've made creating your product easier, but you don't need this one piece of information, and that's okay. So now I'm going to show you how to do this by just doing a live campaign for delivery. I'm going to show you in Aweber. Okay. So let's go to Aweber. So I gotta log in. And you know that for most of my marketing now, I use Infusionsoft. If you use Infusionsoft, you know how to do it. I think most beginners start with Aweber. So let's say that I wanted to send a message out. So let's just say, in fact, I'm going to create and manage a list. So I'm going to create a new list for my product download. Create new list. So this is going to be test for new, oh, it's got to be like 15 characters or something like that. So test for new download. Okay. And I'm going to click Save Settings. Okay, so now we have that. I think I can just go straight into making follow-ups. Okay, so I'm going to click here, new HTML message. I'm going to use the old follow-up editor only because I know how to use that, and if I try to use the new one, you'll probably laugh at me. So this will be download page for tree planting. Okay, and then I'm going to merge, personalize. Infusionsoft, it's called merge, so I think of it as merge. Here is your download page. There's my download page. And then I'm going to make that into a hyperlink. Okay. Now that's actually the link, download link. Now imagine that I'd wanted to send them the download page through my autoresponder campaign. Well, I would just use this link. Okay, there you go. Okay, now what I like to do, okay, and then I'm going to click Save Message. So when somebody buys, they would be added to my Aweber account. Now, that opens up another can of worms. You should know how to get somebody onto your Aweber list or your Infusionsoft or whatever. If we really say, well, you're right at the very beginning, the way to do that would be to create a web form. Create a web form. And I'm not probably going to go through this full process. It's all self-explanatory here. You choose this, you know, and what I would probably do is click Edit Header, and I would say log in to access download page, and then whatever you use, and I'm going to click Save Web Form, whatever you use for, go to step 2, whatever you use for your process, this is my download page, whatever you use to process your payments, your merchant account or your PayPal account or eJunkie or whatever you use, okay, so this is going to be download for tree product. Okay, and then the thank you page is going to be a custom page. The thank you page really doesn't even have, the thank you page could be the basic version. So someone gets a thank you page that just says, hey, thanks for subscribing. And then they'll get the email that sends them the download link page. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, if you know, I want it so that when they get the thank you page, it just goes straight to the download. Why not? Now this is where you could put an upsell or downsell or something as well. Okay. Okay, now folks, please remember, I'm not in, this is not designed to teach you how to use Aweber. If you don't understand something I just showed you, Aweber has all the tutorials that you would need to do it. I'm just demonstrating. I'm not teaching you how to use Aweber. I'm demonstrating how easy it is for you to get your product online. That's all. That's all I'm doing right here. Okay? And then here you can install your own form, but what I would do is I would take this form and give this form to my merchant processor, And anybody that buys gets sent this page right here. They enter their name and email. So I enter my name and email. I hit submit. And I'm going to get the download page. See how easy that was, folks? So obviously there's much more advanced ways to get your product into your client's hands, okay? But what I've just shown you is the easiest, simple way to do it. Now, what you could also do is deliver your coaching over time using an autoresponder. So this is not a coaching campaign, but I want you to pretend it's a coaching campaign. And I want you to notice how in messages, follow-ups, it has 10 messages and they're all spaced 1 day apart. Well, what if I were to go in and make these 10 days apart? Then they would get an email every 10 days for 90 days. And this could be week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 of a coaching program, right? Okay, so again, none of this was to teach you how to use WordPress or how to use Aweber or how to use Audio Acrobat or how to use Instant Teleseminar. It's simply there to show you, to demonstrate to you how easy it is once you've recorded something to get it out to your prospects. If you've been doing this for a long time and you have a more advanced way to do it, then by all means use that. Okay, I'm just, for this one training, I'm making things I'm trying to make them really, really, really simple. Whereas for the rest of the training in this program, you know, it's been at a much higher level. It's been at a much more advanced level. And I wanted it to be that way so you can get the most amount of training as possible. Okay. But this particular training is designed for people who have never created the first product. And if that's the case, I'm sort of making the assumption that they may not know some of these basics. Okay. So now it's up to you. You just follow the directions I just gave you. Create your product. You're going to need some discipline. It's not easy creating a 10-hour product if you've never done it before. In fact, it's probably a little scary to you right now. That's my guess. It's a little scary to you right now. So what are you going to have to do? You're going to have some discipline. You're going to have to say, you know what? Every day at 9 o'clock, I'm going to go into my office, or I'm going to go into my bedroom, or I'm going to rent an office somewhere. I'm going to lock myself in the bathroom for 1 hour and record. I'm going to do that for 10 days. And then I'm going to put those recordings onto a download page, and then I'm going to create a sales letter and I'm going to sell it. Or I'm going to do a webinar and I'm going to sell it. Or I'm going to do a teleseminar and I'm going to sell it. You just have to make that decision and then have the discipline. If you don't make the decision, you'll never do it. And if you make the decision but you don't have the discipline, you'll never do it. You have to make the time and you have to have the discipline. You just have to do it. And I can't stress this anymore. Just do it. It's so easy to procrastinate. It's so easy to procrastinate. And 6 months later, you'll look back at your life and you'll say, boy, how did I accomplish what I wanted to? Why not? Probably not lack of learning. Probably not lack of knowledge. I mean, my goodness, we haven't even finished this program and you pretty much know what to do. You know what to do. Now you have to get out there and do it. Okay, now, you know, maybe you've bought, can I just be completely upfront and honest here with you? And the only reason I want to ask is I'm going to deviate a little bit from this training right now, okay? I would believe that you would believe that the training I've given you over the last 7, 8, 9 days, and obviously the next few days, is good training, okay? I don't want to brag about it or anything, but hey, it tells you what to do, okay? And if you've never created a product today, you probably have your jaw hanging open right now how easy I've just made it. Now, if you've created 25 products in the future, you're probably thinking, boy, Sean, you know, why can't you give them an answer that's a little bit, give them a way to do it that's going to look a little better when it's all done? Well, because it would make it more complicated, and I've really geared the last 10 minutes to beginners, whereas the rest of this training has been at a higher level. If you have purchased 3 trainings from other people, and you've gone through them and you've studied them and you've gone, you know, this is great information, I've really learned something. But then when you go to do it, you've gotten stuck. And now you've bought my training and you've gone through my training, and it sounds like great information, but when you do it, you get stuck. Might I suggest it's not that my training and the other 3 people's training is incomplete. Now, maybe it is. I don't believe that my training is, and frankly, I don't believe that most people set out to create incomplete training. It's easy sometimes when you do a demonstration like I just gave you to skip something. I mean, sometimes that happens. Not often. Okay? Let me just be completely transparent and honest with you here. Most people that, in my experience, most people that try to build an internet business, no matter how much training they get, you can buy 10 more training programs from 10 more people on earth. And you can learn more and more and more. And still, when you go to do it, you get stuck. In fact, there are some people who come to me for coaching who know more about some things online than I do. I mean, my goodness. Probably, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you know more about WordPress than I do. I don't know very much about WordPress. I can barely, as you can see, I can barely create a post. Okay, I don't use WordPress much. You know, I spend several $100s a month for Infusionsoft, and I probably only know how to do 5% of everything that's in it. So if you have Infusionsoft, there's a good chance you know more about it than I do. And there's some things you may know how to do that you know more than I do. The difference is, I mean, unless you are very, very successful and you're watching this just because you want to see how I do it, okay? But if you're watching this because you genuinely want to learn how to do these things, you probably haven't had the success yet. No matter how much you study, if you keep getting stuck, let me just put it out there, you probably need a coach. You probably need something that somebody could guide you. And I'm not telling you this to try to sell you on coaching. I'm not putting a link at the bottom of this for you to go sign up for my coaching. Find a coach that resonates well with you, that you get along with. It doesn't need to be me. There's plenty of other coaches out there that, you know, can work with you at a deep level. You know, and here's something else. The higher up you go in the chain looking for a coach, so the more successful someone is in their business, the less available they're really going to be as a coach. Okay? So what all of that means is to say that if you shoot for somebody that's like the top guru of all time, they have 10,000 coaching clients, you're going to get less personal access than if you hire somebody that isn't extremely good at what they do, but they know more than you, and they can spend 5 hours a week just walking you through. Okay? So it's so easy when you're looking for a coach to say, you know what, I want the most popular person in the world. You know, I want Dan Kennedy, or I want Yannick Silver, or I want Tony Robbins. Okay? The truth of the matter is, probably unless you're shelling out 50 grand a month, you're probably not going to get much personal time. So it's easy to say, I want the very, very best coach that there is, but the very, very best coach probably isn't going to give you the very, very most time. Okay? So then you go from the level of individual I just mentioned, you go to somebody like me who has a lot of clients, but I can still talk to people personally without charging an arm and a leg. Okay? What I do is I do small group coaching, so multiple people can get on a live call at the very same time, and everybody can ask questions. In fact, I think it's better than one-on-one, because if you do one-on-one, you know, and you pay somebody to spend an hour a week with them, and you come to the call totally unprepared, what are they going to do? Talk to themselves for an hour? You know, you haven't done your homework from the last week. They could teach for an hour, teach you something you won't be able to implement for another year because you're behind already, and then by the time you get to it, you've forgotten it. You know, I mean, sure, one-on-one coaching is great for the first 2 hours, and if I give you 2 hours of one-on-one, when I used to coach one-on-one, I gave people 2 hours of information. It might take them 2 months to implement it all. Well, if I'd have sold them 13 weeks, an hour a week, guess what happened on the third week? Hey, Mary, how are things going? Well, things are going really good, but I'm still on the 12th minute that you gave me in the first week. Okay, anything I can help with? No, I'm just following your directions. Boy, your directions are wonderful. Thank you very much. What do you want to work on today? Well, I don't know. Well, what are we going to do with the next 57 minutes? You paid for it. So what do? They paid me $1,000 an hour or some number to teach them. What am I going to do? I'm going to teach on something for 57 minutes. And it's going to go in one out the other because they haven't even done what they already did. Okay? So having said that, I like group coaching best because if somebody only needs 10 minutes worth of help, hey, get on the small group call. You get your 10 minutes. I teach you everything you need to know in 10 minutes because I talk fast. And then, you sit back and you listen to me help other people. Okay, but if you're just totally barely starting out, you might think you want Dan Kennedy, or you might even think you want me, okay? And I believe I'm really good. I mean, again, I don't mean to be bragging here. I mean, God's given me the ability to be able to kind of teach and break things down, and I'm able to do that in a group environment. But maybe you think, I really want somebody who's going to be at my beck and call. I can call them anytime I want. They'll just sit down at their computer, and we can share computer screens, and they can spend 4 hours showing me how to create a squeeze page, or they can spend 4 hours with me showing me how to upload something. Now, maybe I'm being a little facetious here. If you want somebody like that, what you need as a coach is not somebody who is successful already. Find somebody that knows how to do things, but are not successful yet. They know how to do the things, but they're not really successful. And because they're not really successful, they won't charge you very much for their time. And then they can show you how to do some of these basic things. And then maybe get into a group program with Dan Kennedy, or a group program with Yannick Silver, or a group program with me to learn the high level things. But then hire somebody that's inexpensive that can kind of work you through the technical things. So just trying to give you, again, this one video is really geared at a lower level than all the rest of these. They're all really at, I believe, an advanced level. This one is designed to say, look, if you don't know how to create a product yet, there's a good chance you don't know a lot of the things I'm sharing with you right now. And so I just wanted to give you that insight on choosing a coach. Two things. Number one, if you're buying products but still struggling, you probably need a coach. Number two, in choosing a coach, don't just choose the highest name, most advanced person you can come up with just because that'll make you feel good. Find somebody to work with or two people. Find one person maybe that'll teach you the high level, and then find somebody that's at a lower level that can show you what's going on and literally walk you through the steps and show you how to do it. Okay, that's my second rabbit trail for the day. Those of you that are in my coaching program, you know that I do those on a regular basis. If I think of something I believe would add value to you, even if it's not in my notes, for good or for bad, I share it with you. So all of that to say, folks, get out there and create your product. And here's your homework. Finalize that list of what you will create. Begin to create the first page, the first audio, or the first video. Here's what I've experienced with my clients. Sometimes it takes people 6 months to get up the guts. 6 months, folks. It takes people sometimes to get the guts up to do their first hour of audio. And then they send me an email that says something like this: Sean, I cannot believe I waited 6 months to do this. This is so easy. Thank you so much for showing me. Tomorrow I'm going to do hour 2. And then 10 days later, their whole product's created. So instead of waiting 6 months, why not start today? Okay, folks, that's it for product creation. The ball's in your court now. Why not start today?